Hello everyone, Dan Hurd with Dan Hurd Prospecting here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome. I hope to earn your subscription today. We are on an adventure with the whole family here. We just spent a couple hours collecting ocean picture stone, the most gorgeous gemstone from this claim here. But this claim has two sites. It has the ocean picture stone quarry and it has the Midway mine, a gold and silver mine right there. We're on our way up to check out the mine and see if we can get any little samples to check out when we get home. Wish us luck, and I hope you enjoy. So this is about a 100-year-old mine, and they were searching for gold and silver, and they actually got quite a bit out of it. From what I can tell, there's 3 or 4 portals to the underground workings. 3 or 4 adits. I don't know if any of them are still open, but you can see lots of mine dumps, tailings piles, all that kind of stuff around. And we're gonna take a small sample from the best looking one that we can find, take it home and pan it out and see if we can see something. The old reports, I believe, showed that it had native silver, which is always fun, and a fair amount of gold. Looking at the first dump I see, nothing all that exciting. On these old mine dumps, I'm usually looking for rusted sulfides or quartz. And I don't see much of either. Oh, there's a little bit. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Those kind of things there. But not very much volume-wise. Now we're coming up to one area, which I believe is probably going to be a portal. And walking around these old mines, really watch out for divots in the ground. They could show evidence of a collapse underneath. So we have to be careful. We don't want to fall in something here. Oh, there it is. There's the portal for sure. All wired up. You smell pack rat. And there's the seam they were following. It's definitely the ore. And there's some pieces of it here that we can take with us for sure. Whoo, she's stinky in there. Stinky, stinky, stinky. Nothing that's reminding me too much of the ores that we're used to in this area, but you can see right here, whatever that was has just oxidized away, rusted away. That's most likely what they were following. I'll take some pieces of that to crush down and see if it has anything exciting in it. Yeah, when you come into a place like this, see that divot in the ground there? Walk around it in case it's a collapse underneath. Okay, here's more of what I would expect at a site like this for ore. See the quartz seam? I broke off that quartz seam. There seems to be a really nice chunk of quartz right here. And that's more of what we expect to find gold and silver in around these parts. So I'll definitely be taking some of those chunks home to clean up, crush down, and see what they hold. So I got a nice bag here of the quartz seam. Lots of pieces, just out of that little hollow there. And obviously the whole vein just comes to the surface here as running down on the surface. So I got a little bit of the quartz so we can crush it down and see what it has in it. And yeah, go from there. Let's see if we can get a shot inside with a flashlight. There we go. Definitely a good sized pack rat living in there. All that greenery and debris, definitely a pack rat. And see that black shelf up there? That's definitely looking like some sulfides rotting out. Don't know how far this actually goes in because it looks like it goes and stops, but it's probably going straight down at that point. Looks like it might. Let's go look at the lower adit now. The boys have abandoned us. They're walking back to the truck. Obviously, this old mine isn't nearly as exciting as the ocean picture stone was. I'm excited. I like these old mines, seeing what I can find. Now, the lower adit seems to have a bit of a problem. It looks like it's collapsed. I'm sure there was a beautiful tunnel going in here at one point, but you know, water brought down the slough on the top, the logs rotted away, it just collapsed in. Though down around here in the debris, I am finding a lot more evidence of quartz than I found at the upper adit. So these debris piles might be better to test than what we found up top.
So this would have been the wash plant?
Well, I'm not sure. Most of these old mines didn't actually wash the material on site. Could have been their crusher here, because it does look like sort of crush stuff around. Could have just been ore hoppers, but definitely we see piping around. Old tin, a big old pipe of some sort over there, which looks like a whole bunch of barrels put together. And then a structure was probably just some sort of ore bin here. And then these piles actually look quite intriguing. There's 3 big piles here, which could be unprocessed ore that's just left on the surface. Always like unprocessed ore. But I don't have anything to really take big quantities with today. Can we find out here?
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful here.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very green too right now.
For now. Seems to be an old truck of some sort here. Very old. Cool old mine site. You found a rock.
I found a rock.
Woohoo!
So you can catch said rock?
Oh yes, quartz seam going through that rock. Quartz seam with mineralization. See the pyrites?
Yep.
Let's put that in the bag of quartz seams because we'll crush that down with the rest of them.
Oh, yeah, look at it, just glitters.
Oh, it glitters if you get it right? Oh yeah. Oh, we should slab this. I bet you that would be awesome inside slabbed. Very cool. Might be a bit big for my bag. I'm fairly sure this is the crusher. This is the big ore now. This is definitely ore that they were pulling out of the mine. And then these piles here, I bet you, are the crushed or the smaller stuff. But this is just a pile of ore for sure. Or what? I don't know. And you can see pyrites in it. Rusted out, but pyrites. There we go. Now we're talking. I'm going to take a handful of these to process separately because they are definitely a different ore than the other things we've been seeing here. There's pyrite all through the quartz, which means it's mineralized quartz, and that's what you find the gold and silver in. Let's hope we find some native stuff not tied up in the sulfides. Just broke a fresh run, and you can just see bright pyrites in this. It's like a bluish, I almost want to say quartzite. Gray blue, but pyrite all through it. White quartz seam through it. That's the ore. So not as exciting as I was hoping, but really we don't know what we're going to find in those ore samples. And because I don't have much footage of us here at the mine, I think I will actually process those ore samples and put it right in here and see what they have. So this is the most promising looking sample we got. It's that quartz seam we found up on the mountainside, crushed down, and it's crushed really fine. Gonna pan it out in my tub and see what I find. So after the mud and all the fines are washed off, this is what the ore crush looks like. It looks a bit coarse, and that's just because I've been panning it and all the coarse stuff has come to the top. If you actually go down in below, it gets finer. Now that I've panned it down some, you can start seeing the sulfides coming out. It's loaded in something heavy. Those will be pyrites, galena, chalcopyrite, those kind of things in there. Oh, now the sulfides, the heaviest of the heavy sulfides, look very interesting. I don't see any free milled gold, which is unfortunate, but the whole pile of sulfides has a bit of a yellow tinge to it, which just could be the galena. It tends to take on that orangish yellow tinge, but I'm going to put this under the microscope and have a look for sure and see what I see under there. I also see a line of whiter material. It's not coming through on the camera, but whiter material right on the top edge. That could be free milled native silver. Again, we'll throw this under the microscope to have a good look though.
Now in this first sample here, I couldn't find anything that was conclusively native silver, but I did find a few pieces that were definitely native gold. There's one in the middle right now, and lots of cubic pyrite all over the place. Now this stuff is all probably around 1,000 mesh. This is under a lot of magnification right now.
here's what this one looks like after it's crushed. Nice and fine, really, really fine. Let's go pan her out. And here it is washed. A lot grayer material than the last stuff, but also a lot more pyrite. You see it right off the bat. A lot more sulfides, I should say. So again, no free milled gold or noticeable free milled silver. Lots of sulfides, and there are two distinct sulfides again, making a line, one slightly heavier than the other. I will have to put this under the microscope as well and see what it looks like.
So after a long, hard look, I was able to find two pieces of gold in the second sample. This one here in the middle of the screen. And let's see if I can move over to the other one. And that piece as well. So they're tiny. They're probably 1,000 mesh pieces, but we got two pieces of gold in the second sample.
Now the last sample is more of like a soil sample. It's actually material I took from that decomposed seam right on the surface, and I was just shoveling up sort of the rusty debris. I haven't crushed this at all. I'm just going to pan it down as it is. I sifted it to 1/8. Maybe I'll crush the bigger ones if I see any results from this. Now here's a look at that material, just washed free of its mud. Very rusty. So very similar results when I've panned this down. Lots and lots of sulfides. You can see some bigger pieces because it's not crushed. But there's one difference here. Look at those specks up there. Above the sulfides, up on the pan, that's gold. So there's a little bit of free milled gold in the stuff that's been weathered out on the surface, which is interesting. It's a tiny amount, but it's there. Again, I will put this underneath the microscope for you guys to see. Oh, they just floated away. Two of the pieces of gold just floated away when I sort of brought water. Oh, there it all goes. Floating sulfides, look at that. Dreadful. But there is gold there. Hopefully I can find those pieces again.
Now in this last sample, they're a lot easier to find because they're much bigger pieces. Now these do look more like placer pieces of gold than hard rock. Now we were working right at the surface and taking basically a soil sample from this one. So maybe these were weathered out on the surface and weren't actually being hammered out of the rock. So that's interesting. There's another one. I think there was 4 in total if I looked around. But yeah. Interesting that it's not as jagged as I would expect for these larger pieces, but definitely gold in this mine site.
Well, that's kind of interesting that the only sample that showed free milled gold was that weathered out surface sample I dug, and that wasn't even crushed. That was just, sifted out. I still have lots of the bigger pieces that I could crush and check out. I think what I should do now is actually take couple buckets worth of that surface stuff that's just weathered out of there and run it through something like the gold cube or the multi-sluice or something and see how much free milled gold was there. There was still lots of sulfides, and obviously I need to smelt those sulfides to see what kind of gold content is locked up in the sulfides, which apparently is supposed to be pretty good at this mine. Anyhow, that's it for my tests here. I hope those ore samples showed you something really cool. I don't know, I'm still up here on the mountain. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me that thumbs up. Really appreciate it if you shared it, and leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Big thanks to my patrons out there. You guys are awesome. And until the next one, everyone, bye.